The crisis that shattered India's economic dreams. Wishtown was once a sought after destination for India's aspiring middle classes seeking a slice of the good days promised by an ambitious Prime Minister Narendra Modi when he swept to power more than 5 years ago. Now it's a symbol of lost hope. A sprawling 1,000-acre property development located in Noida just outside New Delhi, Wishtown was supposed to give would-be home buyers sparkling shopping malls, pristine golf courses and modern medical clinics. Apartments that should have been delivered by 2012 were billed in the media as global homes with an Indian address. Today, the area is dotted with unfinished apartment blocks abandoned partway through construction. Dilapidated buildings stand vacant with overgrown bushes instead of manicured lawns. Wishtown's failure tells us the story of an economy in distress, a banking system in pain, and consumers too worried about job cuts and rising costs to spend. India's slumping consumption is so severe that it's denting global growth and prompting economists, including last year's Nobel Prize winner Abhijit Banerjee, warn of a major recession in the country. The real market illustrates the extent of economy's woes. Property developers like Wishtown's JP Infratech Limited have gone bust, are mired in billions of dollars of debt and unable to secure funding to complete projects as promised. Non-bank financing, a $335 billion industry that became the lifeline for millions of small businesses and consumers in recent years in the past, has dried up. Prospective home buyers are paying mortgages for apartments they can't live in, putting their budgets under strain, and millions of construction jobs are at risk, with effects that are already rippling across India's all-important rural economy. Despite tentative signs that the worst may be over, growth isn't set to reach its previous highs anytime soon. Never mind the 10% pace the economy needs to combat extreme poverty in a nation of 1.3 billion people. Modi's goal of almost doubling the size of economy to $5 trillion is becoming more distant, and his 2004 promise that good days are coming no longer rings the bell. To make matters worse for Modi, he is dealing with the biggest social upheaval since he came to power. Thousands of students and people from neighborhood groups have joined forces countrywide to protest a controversial citizenship law that critics say discriminates against Muslims and undermines India's secular roots. The fallout has dented Modi's image abroad, giving some investors reason to rethink India rising a narrative. At the heart of economy's problem is a lingering credit slowdown made worse by a crisis in the shadow banking industry nearly 2 years ago following the default by one of the nation's biggest infrastructure lenders, IL&FS. Shadow banks, lenders outside the regular financial system that aren't as tightly regulated as deposit banks, had been responsible for millions of small loans on everything from cars to gold jewelry to luxury apartment of the years. The shock default caused credit markets to seize up in what some may have called India's Lehman moment, a reference to the 2008 collapse of the Wall Street investment bank that triggered the global financial crisis. As lenders chalked off credit, domestic spending took a knock, and with consumption making up almost two-thirds of India's GDP, it wasn't too long before growth numbers were hit. The links between the construction industry and rural incomes are strong, which explain why consumption has been so badly affected. About two-thirds of the India's population live in rural areas, and the limited incomes major villagers flock to cities to find works and send money home to their families. Estimates suggest 70% of rural people draw their income from activity outside of farming, especially in construction. Rural income depends on construction, and construction depends on shadow banks, as the estimates suggest. Having secured a big mandate in the last year's election, Modi is now confronted with a rising unemployment as layoffs spread across industries from automakers to jewelers. The jobless rate, which the most recent data puts at a 4-decade high of 6.1% June 2018, probably climbed to 8.8% in the final 3 months of the last year, according to the Center for Monitoring Indian Economy. The government's response to the slowdown so far has been focused on boosting production in the economy rather than stimulating demand. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman gave companies $20 billion worth of tax cuts last year, set up a 215 billion rupee fund to salvage stalled residential projects, merged weak state-run banks with stronger ones, and eased foreign investment rules. There's not much scope for Shaktikant Das, Governor Reserve Bank of India, to keep cutting interest rates too. Inflation exceeds 7%, well above the bank's 2% 6% target, and give the credit problems in the financial system, the RBI's 5 rate cuts last year have done little to spur lending. Indian economy is definitely going through tough times in an independent India, but still measures can be taken to curb the crisis, which are as follows. Number one, a coordinated fiscal and monetary boost is needed to lift the economy out of its current growth slump. Secondly, tax cuts aim at spurring private consumption, and a boost in public capital expenditure would increase capacity utilization, avoiding any crowding out of private sector firms. Thank you.